Hi everyone and welcome. In this module, I would like to talk about how we can use Similarweb to find new affiliates or to kind of understand who the top affiliates are in a given market and what we can do with that information. So in a previous module, what I showed you is to try and understand how to discover who your competitors are in a given market. So this module assumes that you've gone through the first module on how to do competitive research. So what I'm going to talk about now is I've created myself a custom category for sports betting in the Italian market in order to start doing my analysis for the purpose of discovering new affiliates and understanding who works in the Italian market, who's funneling traffic to my competitors, and am I working with that affiliate? So I'm going to start with my custom category, and in the previous module we talked about how to create one, so please refer to that if you need to. So we've got here a list of all the Italian sports betting sites. Maybe I missed one or two, and I'm going to filter to Italy. And what we can see here are who are the top sites in the Italian market to try and understand what the competitive landscape looks like. However, this is not what this module is going to cover. What I'm particularly interested in now is to understand who are the main affiliates sending traffic to these sites. So what I normally start with is first and foremost, we have the overview, where you kind of get an idea of who the top players are, what regions they're sending traffic from, but as we're in a country filter, it's not really relevant at this point in time. But what we can do is we can go into traffic sources in order to try and understand first, is this market a market that relies on affiliate marketing? And if it does, which main sites are actually sending traffic? So just a quick recap. This is a list of all the channels that the competitive set that we're looking at, or the custom category, is getting traffic from. So the majority of the traffic is coming from direct, so people going to the website and typing in the address or a bookmark. And 33% is coming from referrals. For us, referrals are likely going to include affiliates in it. So it's any site A that points to site B. The site B is being the site that we're analyzing, is going to come up as a referral so long as there wasn't an ad network going through that website in the middle, whereby then we would classify it as a display campaign. So here we have kind of an understanding or a benchmark of what the industry or a custom category is using, what channels are using to generate traffic. And if we scroll down, and let's actually take, rather than just 1 month back, we'll look at the last 12 months just so we can see trends. And what we can see here is first and foremost which channels are generating traffic. So referrals is one of the biggest traffic channels, just so we don't get distracted. I can look and see there was a golden period, then there's a sharp decline, and we're seeing a little revival of referral traffic since July of 2017. But if we scroll down, we can see all the traffic sources that are generating traffic. So for example, direct, as we saw, direct was the biggest channel. Then we have here a referral, but we see it's Bet365 as coming up as a referral. And you might say, that's not really an affiliate. Why is that showing up? And the explanation is, unfortunately, we can't, when we see site A pointing to site B, and there's no connection to a search engine, and there's no connection to an ad server or a social platform, then we see it as a referral, because we can't differentiate whether it had a serial or a tracking code or didn't have a tracking code. So we put them as referrals. Our sharp industry aware eye should know to be able to filter out what's a real referral and what's not a referral. So just keep that in mind when you see. But what happens, why Bet365 is appearing, is likely users are typing in bet365.com but are being redirected to Bet365 IT, and it's our algorithm that looks at clickstream data is seeing that as a referral. So to make our life a little bit easier, I'm going to filter to referrals. Sorry, excuse me. Referral traffic, okay. And I can actually do this, if I want to look at display ads, which publishers are running display ads or which ad networks. But as we're focusing on referrals, I'm clicking on referrals, and I can see all the referrals that generated traffic for the last 12 months for the competitive set as a group. And then I see the traffic share. So 14% of the whole group traffic went from bet365.com, which is not an actual referrer, unfortunately. So let's disregard this. And then we can go and we can see that Good Bookmaker, Diretta.it, Stream TV, NinjaBet. These are the sites that are generating traffic to my industry. Now, what I can do with this information is I can actually export it to Excel. And I can open my Excel sheet. And I can start managing a lead list and try and understand who's a relevant affiliate for me and who's not. Erase all this information, type in a description of the affiliate if I'm managing a lead list. I also have the category that the site appears in. So if later on I want to look for new affiliates, and we'll touch upon that in 1 second, I can also see what are the relevant categories that sites are being categorized under that might be relevant for me. Maybe I can find other sites that could be even more relevant. So that's one thing to keep in mind. Export to Excel, you have a lead list, and you can start working on it. So that's one way of getting a list of my affiliates and starting to build my lead gen or improving my portfolio. Another thing that we can do is, like I said, we can see what categories are generally sending traffic. So we have gambling, sports, but we also have sites that are falling under sports, soccer, for example. So what I can do here, I can go here to see all the sites that are gambling sports, but that's going to include also operators. I can also go to just filter in by sports, and I can see the sports category here, and maybe there are relevant news sites for me, for example, and I can go to top sites, and here I can see all the sites that might be publishers within the sports industry, that might be affiliates that were not categorized under gambling but do advertise gambling companies. And the idea here is that I'd be able to see that here, and also take this and use this as well as a sort of lead list to see if it's relevant for me to get in touch with those guys. Okay, so that's one way to generate new affiliates, is to go to industry analysis and just look at all the competitors that are working within my market and see which referring sites are sending traffic. Now I'm just going to go back because I do want to highlight one thing that's very important, is if you want to understand what are the top referrals, and you want to save this view so that when you log in, now we're in the sports category. If we go back to my BetStars IT, if we go back and we filter to referrals, I can click this button here, and I can add this to what we call a custom dashboard, so that I can basically customize the way I want Similarweb to look like, so that it presents all the data that is relevant to me. Now we're going to do a separate session on how to create custom dashboards, but just keep that in mind. If you want a list of all the affiliates and try and understand, maybe you're looking at it on a monthly basis, so only who were the major affiliates last month, you can filter it accordingly here by time frame, and you can save this to your custom dashboards so that every time that you log into Similarweb, that would be the thing that you see. So let's take, if we look at our top websites, we've got Bet365, Eurobet, Sisal. I'm going to go into the website analysis module. Now, what I did was I just clicked on Bet365 and I right-clicked and asked to open in a new tab because I want to save my list of top sites. Now I get into Similarweb's website analysis tool. In this tool, to differentiate between the industry analysis helps you look at the industry as a whole, whether it's all the sites that Similarweb has categorized under gambling or whether it's a custom category that you created or a custom industry, as we would call it. But website analysis allows you to see granular data for websites that you individually on an individual level and also in comparison mode that in detail that you might not be able to get on industry analysis view. So what we're going to do is go into compare mode and we're going to look at the top 5 competitors in the Italian market. So I'm going to go here and I'm going to type in compare to Eurobet.it. We have Sisal. What else did we have here? SNI and Bwin. Okay, so I'm in the Italian country filter. Right now I'm looking at 1 month, but let's look at 6 months so that we can get an understanding a little bit more about these websites and the trends. Okay, as we're in Italy, we only have desktop data available. If we were to look at other markets like UK, Germany, Spain, we do have mobile data available. So keep that in mind. So what we're looking at here is we're gonna go to traffic and engagement because that's where I like to start. We can see now a comparison of these 5 sites, first in terms of traffic, but also we can see their engagement metrics. So let's talk about traffic for a second. We see that Bet365 is the market leader. They're generating the most amount of traffic. And Bwin.it, while it's in the top 5, it's generating just about a fifth of the traffic that Bet365 is generating. So it's fairly small, but it's still the 5th biggest website. And I always say sometimes you have websites that are small but are making strides, meaning they're growing their traffic month over month. Don't disregard them. They can be nice websites to analyze to understand what's helping them achieve this success. Because sometimes with the big sites we get to miss these little things that help us succeed. So here we're looking at engagement metrics, and why are engagement metrics important is when you're looking and trying to understand what a website is doing to generate, what a competitor is doing to generate traffic. You also want to understand if the traffic that the competitor is generating is quality traffic. So one of the first indications is, how many average visits, how many pages per visit the user is visiting in order to, once they get to the site. So the more pages, obviously, the better the quality of the traffic. Same as visit duration, and most of the time there'll be a correlation between page visits and average visit duration. And also the bounce rate. The bounce rate is really important. We can see that Bet365 has the highest bounce rate, which means that they're likely doing pop-up ads or something that is bringing a lot of traffic to the site, but not necessarily targeted or quality traffic. So maybe it's the law of the masses. The more traffic you bring, eventually you'll get a conversion, and that works so long as you're at the correct ROI or effective CPA. And sometimes you think, I'm not going to waste my time. And that's something that Similarweb can help you explore and understand. So that's why engagement metrics are nice to look at. And you can also see a website's traffic over time on an individual website to see who had a big jump. So we can see that Bet365 had a big surge in traffic, and it'd be interesting to explore what channels were responsible for that. But as we're in the module of trying to understand how to find affiliates, let's go into marketing mix very quickly. And here we can see which channels the competitors are relying on in order to generate traffic. So we have mapped out 7 different channels. We've got direct, we've got referrals, email, social, organic, paid, and display. And what you can see is you can see the relative percentage that each website is using, relying on traffic. So we can see Bet365 is getting a lot of traffic from referral. It's also, if you remember, we saw that Bet365 was redirect.com was redirecting to IT. So it's going to affect this number that you see here. We also see that organic search is a big channel for SNI and CSI. In proportion to Bet365, and that Bet365 and Eurobet are actually, putting a lot of money into display in terms of relative to their traffic. But the more granularity that we can really get is if we toggle here to the number, and we can actually see absolute numbers. And we can really see that Bet365 is getting the most referrals, and the most visits from display and organic, etc. And indirect also gives us an indication, as well as how many returning users or the brand recognition that people have. So we'll go back to the percent here. But what's important to us right now is referrals. So if I go to marketing, and one last thing that I did want to show you is here you have, like in industry analysis, you have all the traffic sources, and you can already here start to filter to referrals. But what I like to do is to download here, the stats here from under channel analysis. If we download it to Excel, we can see how the quality of the traffic that we're getting from a given channel. So if we're looking at affiliates, for example, we'll go to referrals. We can see the average visit duration for all the traffic that comes from referrals. We can see the bounce rate, and we can see the pages per visit. Now, what really stands out here for me is that Bet365, while they have a lot of traffic from referrals, again, the bounce rate is very high, low visits per page, low visit duration. So clearly there's probably some display campaign or pop-up campaigns, or maybe affiliates that are doing pop-ups that are causing a surge in these numbers. But it gives you an indication whether Bet365 is really someone that you want to copy or their affiliate strategy or their referral strategy, or whether, if you're pressed for time, you want to focus on Sisal, for example, who has very low bounce rate, or SNI that has low bounce rate, and high pages per visit ratio, as well as average visit duration. So I really like this view. Helps me understand how good channels are. If we go to organic search, always going to have low bounce rate, always going to have high engagement, because organic search is the most targeted traffic. Display will have the opposite, as suspected, a high bounce rate, low engagement, but a lot of visits. So it's something to keep in mind when you're analyzing, if you have the time and if you like data. But we'll go back to our agenda here. And if we go to referrals, we can see the trends of referral traffic over time per each site. We can also see the proportion, okay, how much traffic each site is generating and how much that is in proportion to the group. And here we can see a summary of all the categories that are generating traffic. So if later we want to go into industry analysis and we want to get all the sites that are related to gambling and sports, I can then later go to industry analysis and find these sites. And here we can have a list. We can see the list of all the sites that are generating traffic to these 5. Okay, this is the group share. So 20% of all the traffic to the group went from bet365.com, but actually it went only to bet365.it, and that's why you see that it's 100% blue because it's only going to bet365. But here, you might have an affiliate of some sorts that is sending a little bit of traffic to Bet365 and a lot of traffic to Bwin. Here you have another potential affiliate or website or news media site that's sending some traffic to Eurobet, as we can see by this tiny green speck, and a lot of traffic to Sisai. Here we can see this is a slightly more competitive affiliate sending to a few websites. And as we scroll down, the percentages are going to get smaller, but the competition is probably going to be tighter. And what I always say is that gaming affiliates have a lot less traffic than, big news sites, for example, or other verticals that you'll find. But their traffic converts very on a high rate. So don't disregard the little ones, even though you might see just 0.01% of the traffic being generated. It's going to be an important affiliate for you to look at, because you might discover that this affiliate can send you 5 more players, but then if you find 10 more affiliates like that, that's 50 more players, and that's all game. So just keep that in mind. You have here 2,644 domains that you can export to Excel and expand on your lead generation list. Okay, so in the spirit of finding new affiliates, let's filter out. Let's say I only want to focus on affiliates that are in the gambling industry. Your classic ones that are ranking affiliates, affiliate sites 1 to 10 based on how much CPA you're paying for them, for example, or um, or because they believe that they want to give really good reviews. So your traditional affiliates, let's look at that. So let's take superscomes.it as an example. I went to the site. I see that they're promoting William Hill, SNI, Skybet. Okay, they're an interesting affiliate to analyze. So I can just right click, open in a new tab. And now I'm being taken out of the view that I'm comparing 5 operators, and I'm now going to look at this specific affiliate and his metrics and try and understand, is this affiliate relevant for me to contact? And we're going to do a separate module on how to qualify affiliates. But just for a real quick glance, just to see, is this interesting for me? I'm going to look at how many visits. Okay, they've got a lot of visits. And I'm going to look at their engagement metrics. Okay, so I can see that they have a kind of not a great bounce rate. I'm also going to look and see at the marketing mix. That's the most interesting for me, because I want to see where they're getting their traffic from. And this is super important. They are generating 73% of their traffic from organic, and we all know that SEO affiliates are the best affiliates. They have the highest lifetime value, most targeted traffic. So this is a good affiliate. Let's assume that I already work with this affiliate and I know him very well, and I want to look for more affiliates like this affiliate. So we have an area here called competitors, and I can look at 2 things. I can look at similar sites. I'm just going to open in a new window, and I can look at keyword competitors. So similar sites gives me a list of all the sites that are shockingly similar to the website or affiliate that I'm familiar with that works really well for me. And what I can do again, I can export this to Excel and add this to my lead generation list. So remember, we're keeping a list of affiliates, potential websites to contact. All I have to do is export it to Excel. Okay, so here's another list of, Sporty Trader, Info Betting, all these guys might be fair game to get in touch with. So that's similar sites. The other thing is keyword competitors, which is kind of the same principle as similar sites. Similar sites is based on content and the type of traffic. keyword competitors is solely on the keywords that the website is targeting. And you might find the same sites that you see in similar sites. You might find totally different sites that are still relevant for you because they're bidding on relevant keywords. Particularly interesting maybe is who are the paid competitors. In this case, he's not doing any paid work, so it's not relevant. But any affiliate that has the budget and the money to pay for paid keywords is likely an affiliate that you want to work with, unless he's competing with your own keywords and maybe you want to avoid like the plague because you don't want to pay more than what you already pay yourself on your own campaigns. So to summarize, in order to generate new affiliates, one of the ways that we can discover affiliates is by going into website compare mode and going to referrals and seeing who's sending traffic to my competitors. By the way, if you are Bet365 and you want to see, you don't just want to, you want to see which affiliates are not sending you traffic but are sending traffic to your competitors. You can export to Excel, and I'll go into aggregate mode. I can filter to Bet365, and I can filter out, give me all the blanks. Okay, so all the fields that are 0 for Bet365, here are all the sites that are not sending traffic to Bet365, but are sending traffic to the other competitors. So that can also be added as a lead list. So it's not just to find new affiliates, but it's also finding affiliates that you're not working with, that your competitors are working with. So that's another trick that you can do in order to qualify your lead list. So we have 3 ways of generating new affiliates. We have industry analysis, looking at traffic sources, or we have compare mode and looking at referrals, or we can look at similar sites and try and understand which are the affiliates that are sending traffic to my, or which are similar affiliates to my successful affiliates that might be relevant for me to work with. There's another small thing that can be useful to generate traffic, is to see which affiliate websites are targeting specific keywords that might be important for me. So let's take the UK market because English is easier, and I want to see who's targeting esport betting. Okay, that's kind of a up and coming field. And I want to see all the websites that are targeting this particular keyword. And unfortunately, I didn't pick the best one because there's not that many. Maybe we'll pick another one. Sorry, 1 second. Let's choose another keyword. Let's type in Euro, when's the Eurovision? Okay, maybe um, election odds, impeachment odds. No, election odds. Okay. All right. So you will get the telegraphs of them out there, but um, it's interesting to see which affiliates are targeting very niche keywords for specific odds, and you have a list of all of the sites. Some of them are operators, but some of them might be kind of long tail affiliates that might be relevant for you to target. So you can get creative with these keywords, and you can use the keyword tool, the see which keywords are generating the top keywords in industry analysis here, to also clue you in. So you can go to keyword analysis and look and see also which sites are targeting that might not be on your custom list. So that's all I have in terms of looking and understanding how you can discover new affiliates. One last thing that I will mention. So remember the custom category that we talked about and the custom dashboard. So when you log into Similarweb, rather than looking at the default view of Similarweb, you have your own view that has all the metrics that are important to you. Once you have a lead list of affiliates, and there's some metrics that might be important for you, like whether they had an increase or decrease in traffic, you can create your own lead list custom category. Okay, so I'm just gonna pretend I have a lead list that is made up of all of these sites, even though not all of them are affiliates. I can paste this and I just call it a dummy lead, lead list. Okay. Now I have a lead list, and I can um, I can add to my custom category uh, the view that I want. So for example, if I want to see the change that took place, so this here, if I want to see that a specific site had an increase in traffic from last month and I want to be able to see it right when I log in, I can just click here, add to my dashboard, and fill and sort to change, and I'll always see the sites that had the biggest increase in traffic coming up first. So that's it for this module. I hope this was helpful, and I hope that you get to do a lot of cool things with your affiliates. Thank you very much.